The Vanguard Dare. Not since the Nine has a topic been so highly debated, so controversial, and so divisive in the Destiny community. Anytime this topic comes up, emotions, ideas, and theories are thrown around like grenades in the crucible. And with lore that's come out in Season of Arrivals, and with Beyond Light on the horizon, it's time to revisit the topic and put our foot down on it once and for all. Greetings, my excellent friends, and welcome to another Embrace Destiny video. Today we're going to go through the references to the Vanguard Dare, talk about Cayde and Uldren, speculate about the future, and ultimately make this a guide for every single time someone talks about this infamous election process. As always, short notes are in the description below if you're in a hurry. So, let's go back to the beginning. There have been a lot of references to the Vanguard Dare, but in true fashion, it has taken a while for the lore to provide us with the origin story. In the lore page Showdown, from the man they call Cayde lore book, Cayde, our last Hunter Vanguard leader and good friend, said, "The Hunter Dare dates back to nobody knows when. There are all kinds of stories about the first Dare, but there's no way to discern the truth of a thing done who knows when by who knows whom. It was the first Dare, that time a hunter." Oh, and mind you, this was way before anyone ever imagined even calling themselves hunters, or titans, or warlocks. This was Risen days. The Chosen weren't organized back then, no code, and didn't get it, no matter how much their ghosts talked their ears off. Back when the first ones got their spark lit, they were just as likely to be a self-involved tyrant as a decent human being. As far as Cayde knew, the Dare dated back to a time before the city. See, Lightbearers, those gifted with the Traveler's power, have had different names marking different periods of humanity. Risen and Lightbearer are general terms, applying to anyone with this power, but also to one who hasn't exactly chosen a path. The first to earn this power are given this term, but even the Drifter is known as a rogue Lightbearer, because he hasn't chosen the same path as us. When the last city was made, many Lightbearers chose to defend humanity, the last city, and did so by using the light in specific ways. Thus, the Guardians were born, and the Titan, Hunter, and Warlock classes with them. So, Cayde's account of the Vanguard Dare states that it goes back to this early time, around the time of the early Guardians, the late Risen. In fact, we receive confirmation of this, and apparently the first account of the Dare, in the Bombardiers lore tab. Here, the speaker is discussing the idea of organizing the newly established classes under a representative leader, aka the Vanguard. The lore tab reads, "The speaker held up his hand. 'You're right,' he said, 'but if the Warlocks have representation in Osiris, and the Titans in Sate 14, I feel the Hunters deserve some as well, and you're a strong candidate.'" "Are there others?" Tallulah said, sobering a little. When the speaker shrugged, she straightened her shoulders, then tried to shrug it off as well. I don't know. I'm not sure I have time for logistical stuff." "Well, I thought you might be up for the challenge," the speaker said. "Because it would be a challenge, given your schedule. A daring endeavor, even." Tallulah was suddenly dead serious. "So it's a dare, speaker?" "It might be." Tallulah Fairwind went on to become the first Hunter Vanguard, and so this lore tab suggests that this was the very first instance of the Vanguard Dare. Back in the Showdown lore card, Cayde says, "But which was first don't matter. They were all first. They were all the Dare to set the table and inspire other Dares. What matters is, once a Dare was offered, if it was taken, it was took. It was on you. It was in you. Not metaphysically. I'm not talking Warlock hocus pocus. I'm talking honor. Accepting the Dare is giving your word." Cayde knew the concept of the Dare very well. One of the most famous Vanguard Dares, after all, was between him and his good friend Andal Brask. The lore page Turn reads, "Didn't have a Hunter Vanguard back then. What with Kauko Swift River finally being declared dead after 2 years MIA, and his dare nowhere to be found. Speaker said it was on the rest of us hunters to figure it out. That first night back, Andal and I were up late. Not a new thing. He drank, I drank, he got tanked, I'm a robot, and we made the pact. Dare issued and accepted. See, there was that opening on the Vanguard, Hunter slot. We both wanted Taniks. Only one would get the killing blow and the glory. The loser had to hang him up and lock themselves away in a tower. And in the winner-take-all lore card, when Andal and I made our bet that wasn't a bet, but really a dare, the dare, we were eager and ready to track Taniks and hit him with some payback. I had the good luck of finding Taniks first. Had the good luck to kill him too. So I thought. So we all thought. What followed was a party. Osiris even showed up. He and the Speaker had sent Sade 14 after Taniks as well. And maybe Sainty's one hell of a titan, but we're hunters. No way were we losing the kill. Looking back, I wish maybe we had. Andal kept his word. Joined the Vanguard. I tried talking him out of it. We'd made the dare in a compromised state. Shiro and I had just been roughed up. Yan was gone. Lush was broken. Emotions were high. Liquid was flowing. Andal wasn't buying it. Neither was I. Not really. The dare's the dare. To back out would have been a mark. Would have called Andal into question to every hunter out there, even to me. I never would have admitted it to him, but he'd know. So let's take a moment to breathe that all in. From what we have learned, the Hunter Vanguard Dare is a challenge. One that is both given and taken. The result of this dare is for someone to take up the role of Hunter Vanguard leader. Once accepted, the dare is bound by honor. To break it would sow distrust amongst the other hunters. In Tallulah's case, the Speaker challenged her to become the leader of the hunters. She accepted the challenge and became the leader. The spot was open, and everyone supported her. In Cayde and Andal's case, the spot was open, the two made a dare to each other, the loser had to take up the job, and Andal agreed. These characteristics of the dare are very important to consider, and trust me, we will. After we talk about Uldren. During the events of Forsaken, Cayde was killed by Uldren Sov, the Awoken Prince. Following up on that, Guardians discovered Cayde's seeming last will and testament in the mission Ace in the Hole. Each cache contained a recording of Cayde, speaking to different people and factions as if they were his killer. If Ikora or Zavala were the killer, Cayde said he forgave them. If Petra was, well, Cayde warned her about blind loyalty. One of the recordings was issued to hunters, and it reads as such.
This one's for any hunter who kills me. Best guess, Marcus Wren? You realize you get my stuff now. All my stuff. Including the Hunter Vanguard cake. Yeah. Congratulations, dummy. That's what we call a Vanguard Dare. Sucks, doesn't it?
This recording has led to a lot of confusion in the community. Maybe even as high up as the lore writers themselves. See, here, Cayde is willing the job of Hunter Vanguard onto the hunter who killed him. It's a punishment, because hunters typically don't want the job, and Cayde is using the opportunity to get back at the hunter who potentially killed him. This has led to a lot of people glossing over what we have learned here earlier, and presume that the Hunter Vanguard position is like some kind of medieval election by combat deal, where the hunter who kills the Hunter Vanguard becomes the Hunter Vanguard. This interpretation, while vague here, seems to have resurfaced during Season of Arrivals. By working through the Exodus evacuation mission, you receive a lore card featuring a conversation between Anna Bray and Zavala. An excerpt from the card, Anna Physics, from the Duras and Egress book reads, "When Cayde passed, I saw the fracturing of the Vanguard as a path toward inevitable failure. Still, it has proved impossible to fill his seat. I believed I would be too weak to lead without the balance added by his unique perspective. As it turns out, His life was but one in an eternity of choices. Zavala, I don't want... Relax. I'm not offering you the job. Unless you killed Cayde, and we've had the wrong man this whole time. So, again, it seems that the role of Hunter Vanguard is being offered to the man who killed Cayde. Whether he is serious or not, Zavala is here implying that the job of Hunter Vanguard should and or will go to the man who killed Cayde, and that Zavala knows who that man is. Cue Uldren's resurrection. Over a year ago, during the tri-weekly visits to Mara Sov's court, Guardians received a vision. If you haven't been, by the way, visit the Dreaming City every 3 weeks, when the curse is at its peak. Visit Petrovenge, obtain the gateway between Worlds bounty, finish it, and go to the Oracle engine. In any case, the vision was of a ghost reviving Uldren in the Dreaming City. Now, either idea would have caused drama in our community, but the two of them together leads to a very divisive idea, that Uldren Sov will become the next Hunter Vanguard leader, that his resurrection will lead to him becoming a hunter, and that Cayde's will, his dare, will lead to Uldren becoming the leader of the hunters. There are certainly compelling lines of argument here. On the topic of Uldren becoming a hunter, we know he has been resurrected, likely to have all the powers of a Lightbearer. Given his personality of a lethal strategic leader, plus his wearing of a cloak, it does seem likely that if Uldren were going to choose a class, he would choose Hunter. And if we agree with both Cayde and Zavala's statements, it would seem that the one who killed the Hunter Vanguard becomes the Hunter Vanguard. But, and here it comes, my entire reason for making this video. First, the dare is an honor-bound agreement. It is not something you could force onto something, or force them to continue. The entire point was that hunters, who typically hate the Vanguard job, needed to be convinced into taking and keeping that role, bound by their honor. There's no law, as far as we know, that states they have to keep the role. Cayde himself said to turn away from the dare after accepting it would leave a mark on you, would ruin your reputation. So, if you took the dare, you could outright refuse the job, if you didn't care about the fallout of losing the respect of all the other hunters. But, forcing someone into the role without allowing them a chance to even accept the dare in the first place, that would be just as dishonorable. Even if you made a long-standing agreement that any hunter who killed the Vanguard leader would become the Vanguard leader as some kind of deterrent, it wouldn't really hold up. If someone kills your boss, you don't accept them as your new boss unless you were in on the coup in the beginning or out of desperation or fear. So, even if Uldren will become a de facto hunter, even if there is no question there, forcing him into a position of leadership based on a contract he didn't agree to would make absolutely no sense. Even if Zavala thinks this way, there is no way the other hunters would go along with it. Even if Uldren were loved by everyone, and even if Cayde were horrible and everyone applauded his death, Uldren would have to agree to the job, and the other hunters would have to agree to have him there. To borrow a phrase from an illustrious pirate, the Vanguard Dare is more of a guideline than an actual rule. Now, because of the unique circumstances, there are some interesting possibilities. While I said a moment ago that the hunters wouldn't go along with it, they could get desperate, and in their desperation, forgive Cayde's murderer enough to slap the job on Uldren. In the Tommy's Matchbook lore, a very distressed hunter told Honor to, quote, "Get someone in that Vanguard chair. The hunters are losing their minds out there," end quote. But again, there is no obligation here on either side. The hunters would first need to agree that either Uldren is fit enough, that they support him, or that Uldren is better than having no Vanguard leader at all. Aside from this lore card, there's little evidence of that. The Vanguard have been taking less and less of an active role for the past 2 years, and there seems to have been little consequence or concern. So while some hunters seem to be worried without a leader, it seems far from a universal notion. Additionally, you'd have to get Uldren to agree to it. Remember, Uldren, as a resurrected Lightbearer, has little to no memory of his former life. The most recent possible mention of Uldren was back during the Dawning, in the lore card and ship Amnestia S2. Here, we learn of a Guardian who has been hiding out, just him and his ghost, avoiding other Guardians who treat him with hostility or grief. The Guardian has only his ghost for company, and it's a tender tale, a moment of quiet reflection. There are many hints that the Lightbearer in this card is Uldren, from the way the other Guardians treat him, the cloak he wears, even the name of the ship itself, Amnestia, a combination of amnesia, forgetfulness of your previous life, and amnesty, a pardon for past wrongs. Interestingly, the Lightbearer is identified here as a Guardian, which could indicate that the Lightbearer has chosen a class or chosen a cause, but at this moment could also just be a commonly applied term. Who among us hasn't used the term Guardian generally? In any case, considering some hints seen when examining some changes coming in Beyond Light, as well as some old shelves storied content, along with the fact that Uldren's resurrection is a plot thread too involved and consequential to be ignored, it is very likely that we will be seeing more of him soon. Before we cast judgment or assume anything, I wanted to make this video to remind everyone that the Vanguard Dare has a history of both offer and acceptance. It is not something one can throw on another. The Dare is a matter of honor. It is not a legally binding contract, but a pact, a promise, to uphold the honor of the conditions of the Dare and the Hunter Order. Uldren seems very fitting for the role, but both he and the other Hunters would have to accept that. Personally, I have high hopes for Uldren, both as a character, possible Vanguard leader, Hunter Vanguard leader, and narrative device. As a character, Uldren represents new beginnings for Lightbearers and raises the questions of, why are we chosen? What is our purpose? As possible Hunter Vanguard, he has the potential to breathe new life and purpose into the Order, not only making things interesting, but providing a unique perspective which may help Ikora and Zavala get past the identity crisis they have been facing. Uldren may not remember his past, but some of his experiences may remain, even subconsciously, and his raiding of the Black Garden and time with the Awoken may give him unique insight into the game of light and dark that the universe is playing, allowing us to move better forward. Finally, as a narrative device, I believe Uldren would make the perfect fulcrum, the perfect inflection point to build this coming year around. Uldren has a connection with every major plot point and character potentially coming this year, and I could see how the seasons could use him to shift from one development to the next. From Aramis and the Fallen, through Varix and Mithrax, all the way to Mara Sov and the Awoken in time for the Witch Queen, Uldren's former connections and current status as a Lightbearer provide an interesting foil, comparison point, and parallels through which to drive the story forward, and I'm very excited of the possibility. Will Uldren be the new Hunter Vanguard? Will the Vanguard even continue? How will all of this happen? As always, I hope to see the story develop, unfold, and build naturally. I personally hope to discover Uldren in the wild, reluctantly work with him, realize his memories are gone but his snarky attitude is intact, begrudgingly grow to learn he is a new person, capable, trustworthy, fighting for what's right, earning his place, and to see him step up to a role he chooses, not one chosen for him, and bring a renewed sense of purpose to our story, to the Vanguard, and to Destiny. Whew. Well, okay, that was a lot. I had to get that all off my plate. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was both entertaining and helpful. I'm sure it has given you a lot to think about. So what do you think? Are you ready to forgive Uldren? Do you think he'll become the new Hunter Vanguard? What would you like to see happen? Please leave your comments below. If you're interested, I've got more videos and playlists on the life of Destiny and my other thoughts which you may enjoy. Thank you all very much for watching and listening. As always, be safe, be kind, and we'll see you all next time, Guardians. Bye now.